placing judgment on other people. That's one of the things that I try my hardest not to do, just because I know what it feels like to be unfairly judged. However, can we be honest? There are a certain subgroup of people that I try to avoid on my way to a successful life. And I find that the people that I try to stay away from fit into 5 specific categories. These are 5 people that I try to stay away from for peak abundance in life. So if you're into that, please stay tuned and we can get started with number 1, which is negative people. There's a difference between bad things happening to you and you being in a bad mood and being a negative person. I think bad things happening to you and having ups and downs in life is what make us human. However, being a negative person is a step beyond that, in that you look for things that are wrong. You look for there to be an issue to the point where it almost seems as if you thrive off of being just very misanthropic and angry, subdued, annoyed at everything, or maybe even unmotivated all of the time. Now, why is that a problem? And why do I try to stay away from people who have this mindset? But life is hard enough as it is. There are people out there who actively put in an effort to see the good in everything. They try to push through their boundaries, and being around someone who doesn't want to see life in that way will only drag you down. I'm saying this from experience. Since we do have a lot of obstacles in life as it is, I find that staying away from people who want to stay in that negative headspace is a very beneficial tactic to have, especially if you are barreling towards a goal of your own, because you are who you're surrounded by. And the way that people can transfer their perceptions onto you is very real. Before you know it, you can have that same or similar outlooks. You're only hearing negative things about certain groups of people. You're only hearing negative things about certain circumstances, and that places a limit on the circumstances that you might see for yourself or that you might even reach for. The second type of person that I try to stay away from, and that you should stay away from if you want to have an abundant, successful life, are takers. Takers are my least favorite type of person, and that's because they're selfish. Now, needing support from people is one thing, but always finding a way to get what you want from people around you makes you a leech. And there's nothing more that I can't stand in this economy, in society, in life in general, than a leech. Now, why do you want to stay away from these people? It's because they're depleters. Imagine a cat, but as a human being. We're not going to let humans live as cats in our life. In order to see if someone needs your support versus if they are a leech, is to pay attention to the reciprocity. These people are the least reciprocal people you will ever run into. They always, always, always need your help in a hurry. However, never around when you need help or even to want to hang out with them. And the biggest way to expose the leeches in your life is to express dissent one time, or to say you can't one time. Their reaction will speak volumes. There was a time in schooling when I would always be the person to go to for a piece of gum. And so every day I would give out 3 to 5 pieces of gum a day, right? You can imagine that that's expensive. So you go through a whole semester, that's like 3 or 4 months giving out gum. And then one day someone comes up to you and they're like, hey, can I have a piece of gum? Now you've given this person gum so many times, but today you don't have any. So you say, I can't today, I don't have any gum, or I have 1 piece left. And their response to that is to call you selfish. To me, that is the prime example of a taker, because all of the help that you've given them up to that point means nothing because you said no one time. I'm sure a lot of you can name at least one person in your life who behaves in that way. Those are the takers that you need to watch out for. The third type of person that I cannot stand and that I try to stay away from are immature people. And immaturity does come with age. However, immaturity is a wider range of behaviors that even people with larger ages still exhibit. Here are some examples of why you want to stay away from people who are immature if you are working towards your goals. The first one being that it can and most likely will create a ceiling on your progress, because immature people have a ceiling on their own. There are people that are successful even though they are immature, but that is not a common occurrence. It's really not. There's a certain level of maturity that you need in order to get to the place that you want, because people don't want to be around someone who's immature and annoying. And immaturity, like I said, can look like a lot of things. It could be not being able to be talked sense into, right? People who don't listen are immature. You need to listen. You're not God. Being open to collaboration is a big maturity factor. Being able to accept when you've made mistakes, taking accountability for those mistakes, those are all maturity factors. And if you're lacking in that, or if you have someone tethered to you who's lacking in that, that is not going to lead you to success. On top of not being able to speak reason into a person with immaturity, you also don't really have the room to express substance either, because maybe their interests are stunted. Maybe they only care about celebrity gossip, or maybe they only care about shopping or extracurriculars, if you know what I mean. Immaturity can become expensive, tiring, and quite frankly annoying. Number 4, the fourth type of person that I think you should stay away from, I think are actually the worst people. So yes, I said takers were annoying, but naysayers are the worst people in the world. These are the people who project their limitations onto you, and maybe they even disguise it as concern or knowledge for you. Have you ever noticed that a naysayer only discourages you from things that promote progress? That's what I've learned. And that's another way to tell if someone's a naysayer. There could be people who are trying to speak reason into you, who think maybe you're doing things too fast. However, you should be able to tell based off of how often they are speaking dissent over your goals and your dreams. If they only speak dissent towards your goals when it's promoting progress, they might be a naysayer. So pay attention next time. If you have a goal or a dream or a want in life, and someone is saying that maybe you shouldn't do that or speaking fear into it, take stock of whether or not they put dissent on you when you're feeling lazy, when you're bed rotting, or when you're scrolling on TikTok. If these people never have anything negative to say when you're not being productive, but only when you have a great idea or you want to focus on a new venture, then it's time that you should probably look into whether or not these are naysayers. And finally, last but not least, the 5th person that I stay away from is the mean person. And mean can be so many different things. There's this thing online where people say, I'm kind but not nice. Not nice and mean are completely different things, because some people see nice as being fake, whereas kind-hearted speaks truer to who you are as a person. But being mean is 100% completely unnecessary. And then being a mean person, that tells me that you spend a lot of your free time doing unnecessary and even malicious things. And to me, that scares me, because if you're going to be mean to someone else and it's unnecessary, what is stopping you from being mean to me? And a few things come to my mind during this thought exercise. You're either not being mean to me because you're intimidated, which in my opinion makes you weak, because pick on someone your own size, or you're not being mean to me because you want something. Either way, I don't like you, because you're being a bully or you're being a user. I don't like bullies. I don't like users. So to me, if you're a mean person and you're just mean to everybody around you, but you're nice to me, I don't want anything to do with you. Those are the 5 people that I stay away from on my journey to success. And I have had encounters with all 5 of them. I've noticed that when getting away from these people, my life has only leveled up. I've only had more peace. I've only had more productivity. And so that is why I have come up with this list of people who I want to avoid for the rest of my life. So I want to know in the comments what you guys think, if you agree, if not, and if I've missed any, because I'm sure there are so many that you have in mind as well. So please let me know in the comments what you think, if there are any type of people that you yourself try to avoid, and we can talk in the comments. So I'll see you in the next video.